Time now for another vlog. And in case you were wondering, I do have a vlogs channel where I specifically post my vlogs once a month. And 2020 has been a bad year. It's been horrible. So we rebranded the vlog series back at the beginning of the year. Technically, I did it in December. Whereas I used to have a vlog over specific topics, issues, philosophy, etc. Kind of had to rebrand it in order to keep the vlog series going because I ran out of ideas when it came to the previous vlogs. But you're always welcome to go to the vlogs channel, check out the vlogs playlist for previous vlogs. So, no surprise, 2020 has sucked. And the suckage continues. But I do appreciate all of you that take the time to watch my vlogs. And those of you that subscribe, we got 259 subscribers over on the vlogs channel. You're welcome to subscribe. I realize it's not exactly an active channel because I only post there once a month, so I get it. A lot of people that probably watch the vlogs aren't even subscribed, but that's why I share it on the socials, the Discord, as well as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. But I do appreciate y'all taking the time to watch my vlogs. So, June 2020. What has happened? I will never cover everything that transpires. I will always miss something, and even things that I write down, I will miss, or else I'll just decide not to talk about it at the last second, or I'll just completely forget about it, and then after the video's over, and I'm done recording it, then I'll realize, crap, I forgot to talk about that. But, let's talk about something positive. Let's start things off on a good note, because something good did happen in June 2020, besides it almost being over. SpaceX launch, which was pretty cool. And that means that maybe we're going to see a private industry heading into space. And that's awesome because I think that that's something that could unite humanity. Focus, getting us up there on the moon, colonizing the moon, as well as Mars, maybe the asteroid belt and beyond. So I like the idea. I think that's a potential promising venture for us to take. It's always good to have something positive to focus on. It could really bring us together in these divisive times, us as in humanity as a whole, which is something I think we really need right now. So props to Elon Musk and everyone behind SpaceX for the successful launch. And of course, over there at Virgin, I think they're doing stuff too. But yeah, so that's a positive. Anything else? It was Pride Month, so that's cool. Happy Pride Month to everybody, whether you're straight, bi, gay, trans, lesbian, anything else. I support all of you. Whatever your life choices happen to be, it's cool by me. So happy Pride Month. And the Sierra Dust Storm was interesting. So the Sierra Desert, there was I guess a wind or something that picked up a whole bunch of sand and carried across the ocean. First, I think it hit the Caribbean. And then it made its way across the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, into the U.S. And that was quite fascinating. Last week, we had basically this dust cloud overhead. And it was interesting. It's something I never experienced in my life. So, kind of cool. Interesting. Nature, weather. Fascinating, beautiful, breathtaking. Sometimes a bit scary. So, there's that. And some conflicts happening. There was issues. I guess it's ongoing between India and China. There was a little fight at the border up in the mountains between India and China. I think, some people got killed, like 20 Indian soldiers, about 30, 40 Chinese soldiers. Things are pretty tense now between those two countries over this disputed area. There was something in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. North Korea blew up a building. So that's not going so well between North and South Korea. I know this is definitely not good news. It's kind of bad news. So, anything else happened in June? Anything? Oh, yeah. So we started, I guess, unlocking or moving on, trying to move on from the bug. Going from lockdowns to phase 1, phase 2. Now it seems like states in the U.S. are going back to phase 2, phase 1 lockdown because there seems to be resurgence in bug cases, unfortunately. So that sucks. I'd just like for us to get over this thing. I mean, it's already killed enough people. It's already infected enough people. Thank you, China, by the way. Also, apparently, there's another potential pandemic brewing in China. This is some sort of flu that's transmittable to humans by pigs. I came across that last night. So, once again, thank you, China. Sarcastically. 2020 just keeps getting better and better. And unfortunately, things keep getting worse, sadly. So, what are some other things I want to talk about? Yeah, it's just crap. I just get tired of every single month in 2020 reflecting on mostly bad news. I mean, it's expected, right, to have bad news occur every month during a year, and every year to have bad things happen, but also good things. I mean, you kind of hope for at least a 50-50. Right now, it's like 80 bad news, 20 good news. I mean, I think that's being a little too generous. Maybe it's more like 90 bad news, 10 good news. Maybe 95-5. I don't know. But yeah, it would be really nice if 2020 would start to turn around. Maybe in July. Yeah. Could that happen? Probably not. We still have the presidential election season heating up in America. Yay. Not excited about that at all. We've had protests going on, as some of you are aware of. I know not everybody that watches the vlogs lives in America. So I try to talk about things that affect America and the world and humanity in general. And as a lot of you are aware of by now, on May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was murdered by police officers. And fortunately, the cops were fired. There's going to be charges brought up against them, specifically the one former officer responsible. It looks like he's going to be facing second-degree murder charges. That's a positive, because I believe cops should be held responsible for their crimes. Just like we're held responsible when we break the law, so should cops. So there's a bit of good news to all this sadness and tragedy, which may ultimately lead towards positive changes. I'm all about that. Most of the protesting has been relatively peaceful, and I'm all in favor of police reform. I think that it's important. I also want accountability in law enforcement. I think that's important in a free society where, cops have to be held accountable, and they have to be expected to follow the laws, the same laws that they uphold, whether it's the small laws or the big laws. There's also a renewed call for Confederate statues to be pulled down, relocated to Civil War battlefields, graveyards, museums, and renaming U.S. forts that happen to be named after Confederate generals. That makes no sense, right? A United States military base named after a Confederate general. Yeah, I think those names need to be changed peacefully. All this needs to be done peacefully. Due process, petitioning, voting, with local governments or state government or regional governments, or simply like in an area, just put it to a vote, let people go to the ballots and cast their vote about statues being removed. I don't like the mob rule aspect that's been going on, but, civil, peaceful protesting, I'm perfectly fine with. And what else? Oh, yeah, the state of Mississippi, neighbor to Louisiana. They're finally going to do something about the state flag of theirs. For a very long time now, a lot of southern states had flags, not all of them, but a lot of them had flags that were paying homage to the Confederacy. And one by one, they have come down as time has progressed. And so I think one of the major ones left standing is the Mississippi flag. And now the people of Mississippi and the state government of Mississippi, even the governor, who originally whistled a different tune, as a lot of them have changed their mind because of public outcry. The public has had enough, and I think it's time for a change. A flag that's going to not be so divisive in the state of Mississippi. So props to the Mississippi government, the governor of Mississippi, for finally turning around on this issue. I think it was necessary. And hopefully they'll vote on a new flag, and it'll be a design that the people of Mississippi, for the most part, will be happy with, instead of the current design. Like I said, it's all about the due process, the will of the people, the vote, petitioning, making change peacefully, the peaceful process. All this, in my opinion, is good. We need to work on ways to heal the wounds of the past and usher in equality for all and rule of law for everybody, where the law stands for all citizens of all countries, where we're all treated equally under the law, where your life matters just as much as my life matters, and nobody's life is seen as less, if that makes sense. I believe I'm making a good point, hopefully. But that's the entire point, is that your life matters just as much as my life matters. And that's what's about equality. Treating people like equals instead of less than human beings. And unfortunately, a lot of folks have felt like, in various communities, that they never had that equality. And I'm sympathetic about that. I definitely want a better society where freedom and liberty and equal rights and justice is for every citizen. Everyone. No matter what your background happens to be, no matter what your pigment is, no matter what your culture, what your heritage, what your gender, your life choices. It should all be equal. We should all be equal under the law. There have been some bad things that have transpired, though, including my driving. Well, that's a small issue. Expected whenever I'm driving around this game, doing these vlogs. So I do support peaceful process. I do support the rule of law, democracy, voting, petitioning. And those things are great. But what's not so great is the looting and the rioting, the graffitiing, and attacking innocent people, threatening bystanders, threatening homeowners. That's wrong. There's good ways about bringing forth positive change, and then there's all that other crap that's going on, as well as cancel culture being out of control. And I've talked about a few of these issues over on my Burns Report channel, where I'm attempting to do more political stuff. And in case you're wondering, I'm not on the far left. I'm not on the far right. I'm in the middle. I'm a moderate. I have some conservative leanings. I have liberal leanings. I have libertarian leanings. I just want people to get along, pretty much. People to get along, come to the table, start treating each other like human beings again, because that's something that we're not doing anymore through the cancel culture, and try to come up with positive solutions to the issues that we're all facing. That's all I want to do. I don't feel like that's a lot to ask, because I feel like most people want nothing more than for everyone to get along for the most part, and work on these issues and make society in general better for everybody. But there's a lot of bad stuff that's been transpiring. There's good things, there's bad things throughout these protests, and the looting, the rioting needs to stop. It just does. You're breaking the law. Two wrongs don't make a right. And several mayors and governors have been doing kind of shit jobs throughout this whole ordeal. The Seattle mayor, she's been terrible. So is the mayor of New Orleans. Seattle mayor, she basically stepped back and allowed several blocks in her city to be taken over. Was it Chaz, Chop? Things haven't gone so well there. I mean, there have been peaceful protesters in the occupation zone, or whatever it's called now. But there's been a lot of law breaking. There has been looting, there's been robbing, there's been some acts of violence, there's been graffitiing, and unfortunately, there's been some shootings, as well as some deaths. Several people have been killed already. And all that's on the mayor, because the mayor chose to pull back the police and allowed these groups to take over several city blocks. And you don't do that in a city. You're elected to serve the people of the city of Seattle mayor. I get it. You want people to feel like they can peacefully protest without fear of police going after them. Okay, cool. Let them protest peacefully. Don't let them take over several city blocks in a major city. Don't let them start ransacking buildings and graffitiing and looting and stealing from each other and everything else that's happened. You don't do that as a mayor or as a governor of a state. You don't allow that. There's certain things we sit back and we allow because freedom of speech, right to peacefully assemble. But there's also laws, mayor. And the mayor of New Orleans, I mean, I've heard quite a few things that she's been up to. She's not very good from what I've been told. She's made some terrible choices. Now, once again, I'm all in favor of peaceful protesting. But there is a connection between the protesting, where you have large groups of people gathering together during a bug where it's spreading, and why several health agencies like the CDC, WHO have been recommending social distancing, people wearing masks and sanitizing, washing their hands, self-quarantining. So you can't really expect large groups of people gathering for protests, even if it's peaceful, not to have some sort of side effect, a consequence when it comes to us trying to deal with the bug issue. And I think there's a correlation. I think there's a connection. I don't think Trump's done a good job. I think he's done a terrible job. I'm not a Trump supporter. But you can't ignore the fact that when you have large groups of people together, whether it's New Orleans or other parts of the country, that there's not some sort of magical bubble protecting these people from either A, catching the bug, B, spreading the bug. Because I'm willing to bet that there were probably a few people in every one of these protests that had the bug, whether they realized it or not. That's probably another reason why it's spreading. And the mayor of New Orleans tried to dismiss that. She tried to say, no, the bug spreading has nothing to do with that. It's because of this, this, and this. And you're sitting there going like, BS, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like the PR is getting a little out of control. And everyone's afraid of offending everybody now. And YouTube's now canceling far-right channels. Okay, far-right channels that have hate speech, you're going to cancel them, YouTube? I guess it's your right to cancel them. But what about the far-left channels that are also doing hate speech? You got to cancel them too. Because they're both very divisive. Both sides extremely divisive. And for the record, I don't think anybody should be canceled. Even if you have some of the worst thoughts and ideas. All right? Demonetize them. Don't give them the ability to make money on the platform, right? Okay. But at the end of the day, I mean, I get it. If they openly are threatening other groups of people, being outright racist and intolerant towards a variety of groups, okay, I get that. But if it's simply just a political opinion, which isn't exactly racist, but you've deemed it to be a form of hate speech because they disagree with the protesters, they disagree with this or that, or my driving. See, if you disagree with my driving, you don't deserve to be canceled because my driving isn't very good anyways. But yeah, I do value freedom of speech, and freedom of speech should be protected for everybody. But here's the thing. When it comes to YouTube, our Twitter, our Facebook, these are not countries. They have a right to curtail and deem what is justifiable, what's okay, and what's not okay on their platforms. And personally, I'm anti-hate speech. I'm anti-racism or bigotry. Absolutely. And if YouTube wants to do it, do it. But don't be hypocrites about it. Don't be hypocrites about it, YouTube. You pull down the far-right channels that are spreading hate. Well, there's far-left channels doing the same thing. Pull them down as well. Unfortunately, this does cause a slippery slope. And that's something we always have to be mindful for. You pull down one group, where does it end? I don't know. So that's one reason why I am concerned about what's happening on YouTube right now, as well as over on Twitch. We still don't know why Dr. Disrespect got permabanned as of the recording of this vlog on the last day of June 2020. But yeah, it's just crazy times. I feel like social media, the entities like Twitter, YouTube, Google, Facebook, some of them may be going too far, but at the end of the day, it's really weird because you have to separate the social media platforms from, for example, what freedom of speech is in my country. So, yeah, as much as I dislike hate speech and bigotry, I also don't like censorship. I don't like people being censored. I don't like channels being pulled down. And where does it end? Exactly. And it makes you worried. It makes you concerned as somebody who is a content creator himself, not just with the vlogs channel, but also, Burns Report, which I'm trying to make more political again. And for the record, I hate fucking politics, but I feel the political bug once more. Maybe it's because it's election season, or there's just a lot of stuff going on that I'm just trying to, talk about and discuss, and I don't know, come up with some sort of opinion on that is in the middle. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, really. There are times when I just want to stop doing it. There are times when I want to say, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to say anything anymore because everybody gets canceled now over every little thing. It's a freaking witch hunt. Guilty until proven innocent. And even individuals that are trying to be reasonable, trying to point out things and serious problems, like we have to censor ourselves to some degree. And at the end of the day, you're just like, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if I want to waste my time making a video with my thoughts, my views, and opinions while I'm trying to come at this from the middle in order to bring people together, to heal the divide. Like, what's to stop some group from taking something I say out of context or dragging up an older video on that channel and using it against me? I don't know. I mean, for the record, I would never apologize. I would just simply say, if it's a video where I said something years ago that I disagree with, I would probably just openly say I disagree with that point of view now. And I usually go back and I look at previous videos on that channel. And there have been a few times where I no longer agree with a point of view, and I have deleted those videos. So I've looked back to a few times, and I'm like, okay, I no longer agree with this point of view or that point of view. This isn't me anymore. And so I'll delete, that content from the Burns Report, formerly Freedom Files, whatever the hell it is now. But there are times when I really want to just stop, just knock it off. But at the same time, I mean, it's freedom of speech. If we stop talking, if we stop trying to have a dialogue, if we stop voicing our opinions, then we'll have no right at all to say anything. Where does it end? And I don't want to be canceled. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't apologize anyways, because obviously people that apologize, it doesn't help. There's no forgiveness anymore. When somebody does something wrong to me and they apologize for it, and it's not something that's the end of the world, I'm willing to forgive as long as they're sincere in their apology. I'm willing to give them another chance. I won't forget what they did, but I'm willing to forgive as long as they've generally learned from their mistakes. And believe me, that's happened quite a few times. Some people forgive them. Some people I can forgive because they accept responsibility for their oopsies, their mistakes. Some people never learn. Some people think that they were in the right, that they're always the victim. Well, newsflash, we're not always the victim. Sometimes we all make mistakes. But at the same time, I don't know anymore. You just get tired of fighting after a while. The truth is, part of me would like nothing more than to just focus on the gaming channel. But I get these wild hairs. I get these wild hairs where I want to talk about this issue or that issue. And I know Burns Report's a smaller channel, but I do appreciate those of you that watch that channel and this channel and my gaming channel. It means a great deal to me. But of the three channels, the gaming channel is my priority. that's my priority. So if I had to make a difficult choice, if I had to sacrifice content on 2 out of 3 of the channels, unfortunately, it would be this channel and Burns Report, because I've put a lot into that channel, the gaming channel. I mean, that's just a sad reality, but I don't want to do that. I want to be able to continue having these conversations and talking about what's on my mind and what's on your mind. And I don't feel like any of my opinions are worthy of being canceled over, especially when at the end of the day, I want equality for everybody. I want everybody to have a chance, a fair shake at life. And I just want everyone to get along. I want there to be an end of hatred, end of racism on all sides, and live and let live. And just like with Pride Month, love is love. Maybe I'm unreasonable. Maybe I'm crazy. I have no freaking idea. But I think that there's a right way and a wrong way about bringing forth change. Peaceful change, peaceful protesting, petitioning, voting. And then there's a wrong way to do it through the mob mentality that's going on, the cancel culture, the hashtagging. I think that's wrong. And I think that's just making things worse. It's dividing people further and further and creating these camps. And I don't like the fact that all cops are being demonized right now. Cops that do things, that say things, like racial comments that come out, they should be fired. We should not have racist cops on the police force. Because men and women in uniform that wear the badge are supposed to serve and protect the community, everybody in their community. And when, like I said earlier, when they break the law, they should be punished the same way any of us would. The small laws, felony use a turn signal or not wear a seatbelt, to the more serious crimes. There shouldn't be a double standard just because they happen to wear a badge. But at the same time, there are a lot of really good men and women in uniform that wear the badge, that are simply trying their best to serve their community and just make it home to their family, to their loved ones every night, because it's a dangerous job. It's a dangerous job. It's especially right now, a very underappreciated job. And a lot of cops are being targeted and demonized by the mob, instead of simply recognizing that, hey, we do need police in a society. And there are places right now, I think New York, like nearly 300 cops on the NYPD are talking about retiring. And I'm sure a lot of cops are on the verge of doing that nationwide, which means there's going to be a shortage in law enforcement. That is not good. There are certain things that can be done. Police reform, classes taken, vetting processes to make sure you have good men and women wearing a badge, and getting the bad ones out, the bad apples, try and get them out of there. You can't always get them all, but demonizing all cops is a bad idea, in my opinion. It's a terrible idea, because a lot of cops are they've had enough. They're like, we're doing our best here. And a lot of it is because of what's happened since 9/11, with the rise of the police state in America, the passage of the Patriot Act, Homeland Security, the militarization of police. That's where a lot of the recent issues have occurred. Police are just been given too much of that. They've become too much like a standalone military force when they're supposed to just be cops. They're cops, not soldiers. There's a difference. And so I think we need to scale that back. And our cops should just be cops again. A police state is not a good idea, especially if you want to live in a free society under a constitution, a Bill of Rights with amendments and supposed freedom and liberties and justice for all. Militarization of police kind of contradicts that idea. It does. I was going to mention Trump, but why? He always does things to divide and outrage people every single week. I just don't understand why is it so hard for him to understand that maybe there's just some things he shouldn't tweet or have I don't know, somebody in charge of his social media. And then he could be like, hey, I want to tweet about this. And then have the social media manager. All right, okay, Mr. President, let me look into this real quick. Okay, Mr. President, this video you want to tweet, these old people protesting in the village in Florida, like with these two different groups. One of these guys that you saw going by with a golf cart, he said a certain racial slur. I mean, it's possible he didn't hear it, but most people probably don't believe that or buy it, Mr. President. They don't. It's possible he didn't hear it. He just saw some old guy driving by with a golf cart with a Trump flag on the back. And that's all he did. He didn't bother to listen to it. He didn't double check or triple check or quadruple check the video. He retweeted to make sure that, but obviously he needs to stop tweeting. Yay. What else is new? And for the record, I'm not a fan of Biden either. As some of you may know, I don't like either candidate. I really don't. I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of Biden. I wish we had different options on election day. Unfortunately, as of right now, I fear that that's probably going to be our options. I mean, it'd be nice if we had brokered conventions for the Democrats and the Republicans and they replaced Biden and Trump with two more reasonable candidates, but I highly doubt it at this point. And the Democrat convention is going to be like virtual. They're not even going to be at the convention. The delegates are going to stay home and they're going to vote online, which I have issue with. I think the delegates at the very least should show up. They should have to show up. They should have to discuss whether or not they actually want to vote for Biden. I think there needs to be full disclosure from the Democrats regarding the current state of Biden's health, because I think they're hiding something. And it seems pretty obvious from previous Zoom conferences and whatnot that I'm not trying to be mean to Biden, okay? I'm not. But it just seems like to me and many others that something mentally is off about Biden. I mean, bear in mind, he's in his 70s, and I don't think he should be running for president. But unfortunately, the Democrats have decided that come hell or high water, he's their choice. Just like come hell or high water in 2016, they did everything to get Hillary the nomination, including using the superdelegates. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. I guess the virtual convention with probably pre-recorded speeches, edited speeches from Biden where you won't have to see him live. They'll probably do that. And because it's virtual and online, I'm sure they won't have any issues at all when it comes to the delegates voting on Biden. So he can officially take the nomination of the Democrat Party. The Republicans are still going to be doing an actual convention, but they're taking precautions with like testing, masks, and all that stuff. No guarantees. But I did a video on Burns Report where I talked about the need to replace both candidates. Not going to happen most likely. But with each passing day, it seems like Trump does more and more things to divide people even further and piss off more and more people that would vote for him. And Republicans. So it's possible in August that may happen. That there may actually be a brokered convention on the GOP side. If he doesn't get enough delegates to vote for him, then they may pick somebody else. I would not be against that at this point. Especially if it was like a moderate Republican that could bring people together and not be as divisive as Trump is. I would not be against it. And sadly, I just don't think there's any really strong third-party candidate. And unfortunately, with the way the electoral system is and the way people's mindset are in my country about this team mentality, either have to be a Republican or a Democrat, even if both parties suck for the most part. There are good Republicans, there are good Democrats, but for the most part, both parties suck. So I feel like on Election Day, I won't really have any option. So I'll probably stay home. I love voting. I love exercising my vote. I believe in the power of the people. But what's the point when you feel like, in the words of South Park, you're voting between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. So if it's Trump and Biden, no thanks. Now, Biden could have a really good VP, which will most likely be the next president, because I don't think Biden's going to serve out a full term if he wins, especially if he does have some sort of mental health issues going on. So the VP choice, whoever he picks as VP, will be interesting. Whoever she happens to be, because it will be a female vice presidential candidate for Biden, she will most likely, if Biden wins, eventually be the next president shortly after him. Who knows how long? He may serve out a full term. He may serve out half his term or whatever if he beats Trump. That's still no guarantee because it's only, July coming up. November's still a long ways off. A lot can happen between now and November. So Trump's not completely done yet. And it could end up being a very, very close election going right down the middle between Trump and Biden. We'll see how it goes. But if you want more political nonsense, check out Burns Report. Hooray. I'll try to post some more videos there this week. I've taken a few days off. I have a few ideas for videos. I may post something tomorrow. We'll see. No promises. And anything else going on? Oh, yeah. Gaming stuff. Let's move on to gaming stuff. Let's wrap it up with some gaming news. Gamers. So, yeah, I do have a gaming channel. Some of you may know where I cover Mafia. Excited for Definitive Edition. Mafia 1 being remade. Coming out late August. Going to be playing that. Hopefully it won't be delayed. And also I cover Red Dead and GTA over there. Last of Us 2 was pretty divisive. Yeah. Good thing I never played Last of Us Part 1, right? So I didn't really have a dog in that fight one way or the other. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. GTA 5 is coming to the next gen. Yay! I get to play this game next year on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. If only they would actually make it forwards compatible like CD Projekt Red is going to do with Cyberpunk 2077. That way I wouldn't have to buy the damn game again. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm going to actually buy Grand Theft Auto 5 again on next gen. I've been playing this since September 17th, 2013 on Xbox 360. Then a year later I picked it up for PS4 and Xbox One. And then a year later after that I picked it up for PC. Well, actually my friend Shotgun bought it for me on PC. So I've been playing this game for nearly 7 years. As much as I love Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, I feel like Rockstar and Take-Two is milking this game rather dry by now. So I would like for them to move on to something else. Bully 2, a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, Grand Theft Auto 6 Rockstar, please. But I think that's pretty much it for this vlog. I'm going to try and keep these vlogs shorter and not drag them out as long as possible. If you're interested in political stuff, check out Burns Report, gaming channel. You know where that is. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch my vlogs today. I think I talked about everything I wrote down, more or less. And I think freedom of speech is important. It should be protected and cherished. And even if you disagree with some of my hot takes or cold takes or lukewarm takes, I think we all have a right to agree or disagree. And I really wish the cancel culture would stop. And we would just simply, at the end of the day, just accept that everyone has different views and opinions. Obviously, there's more extreme thoughts out there as well. And I'm against those thoughts. I'm against that shit, as a lot of you are aware of by now. But for the most part, I think that we need to get back to humanizing each other once again, especially through social media when it just feels like you're talking to just another YouTube account or Twitter account or Facebook account, wherever you happen to be doing your back and forth on the socials. I don't like to see channels being deplatformed or like Twitch streamers like Dr. Disrespect all of a sudden permabanned without any actual official reason from Twitch. I think they owe him and his fans an explanation. And everybody else is now curious about why did you take one of your biggest Twitch streamers and then just permaban them whenever you have other streamers over there who break your rules on a regular basis. But you give them free passes. You give a couple of those female streamers free passes. I hate hypocrisy. I hate double standards. And I think that it should account for everybody. If you have to follow the rules on Twitch or YouTube, everybody should have to follow those rules. Whether you're a big channel, small channel, it doesn't matter if you're a male streamer, a female streamer, doesn't matter. Rules are rules. And the moment you say that this group doesn't have to follow the same rules as this group, then you have a double standard and you have a hypocrisy. And that's why law enforcement should follow the law and should be held accountable. And that's why if Twitch is going to go permaban Dr. Disrespect, they should let us know why. And while they're at it, they need to look at other streamers on their platform that are probably also breaking their rules that they've turned a blind eye to for far too long now. And when it comes to YouTube, if you're going to go out and deplatform the far right channels that, according to you, are spreading hate, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't really follow those channels, to be honest, so I can't make a judgment call one way or the other. Be fair about it. Don't be a hypocrite. Go after the far left channels that are doing the same damn thing, but on the far left side. I just can't stand hypocrisy. Either it applies for all of us, or it doesn't apply for anyone. The same thing goes for the rule of law. So with that out of the way, I do appreciate all of you taking the time to watch my June 2020 vlog. A bit random. A lot of it was about free speech, my thoughts about it, and the concern that we are possibly self-censoring ourselves because we don't want to be seen as an ist or a phobe, and we don't want to be deplatformed. But at the same time, I feel like freedom of speech has to be cherished, just like the right to vote, and we have to protect and defend it. But at the same time, absolutely against hate speech, absolutely against ists and phobes. But I'm also against the hypocrisy and the double standard that a lot of these social media platforms happen to have, which seems very obvious. But overall, I would say, in conclusion, June 2020 sucked also. So 2020, first half of the year, crap. It has been absolutely awful. Terrible. And thanks to everybody that left comments in the May 2020 vlog, including Michael. Feels just like yesterday when the universe was created. Well, I was a little bit further back than yesterday, Michael, but okay. Let's see, WTF Bra. Let's see, how come you don't appear on the ACG podcast anymore? Because, well, a few factors. One thing is I felt like I was just taking up space after a while. And a lot of the games they cover, in all fairness, most of those games I had no knowledge about and I had no interest in playing. So I didn't really have anything to say when it came to a lot of the games or gaming news that was discussed. I enjoyed being part of the ACG International podcast with Carrick, Reg, and Silver. And if Carrick ever wants to have me back as a guest or a fill-in co-host, then I am more than happy to come back, Carrick, if you happen to be listening to my vlog. I hope you are doing well, along with Reg and Silver. And finally, Mr. Grumpy says, community was great. Allison? Yes, please. Oh, yeah. Love Allison Brie. She's awesome. Yes, I do. But, yeah, community was good the first season, but it did go downhill after the first season. Third season got better again, but then it went back downhill with the last few seasons. And that's another thing. I really wish these voice actors and voice actresses would stop feeling guilty for roles that they were hired to play, roles that they auditioned for. I feel like in some instances, all this push for equality, in some aspects, is going a little too far. Just a little. I don't think Allison Brie should have to apologize for playing a specific character on BoJack Horseman. For the most part, people say she did a great job. I have yet to watch BoJack Horseman. I hear it was good. But at the same time, Allison Brie, just being fair here, you might feel guilty now about playing that role. But if you really did feel guilty about it, then why did you continue to show up and work and voice that character over the past few seasons and collect a paycheck? It's only after the fact now you feel guilty. And for all the other voice actors and actresses that have been quitting their roles, like I said, I feel like it's going too far. There are plenty of great voice actors and actresses, because I love a lot of animated shows like South Park, Batman the Animated Series, Superman Animated Series, Justice League, Batman Beyond, just to name a few. There's a lot of great voice actors and actresses from all walks of life out there. And they should have the right to voice whatever character they're hired to voice without consequence. And there's plenty of fantastic black voice actors and actresses out there too. And I don't have a problem with them voicing characters that are white or anything else. They're voice actors. And it's not their fault that they're cast for these roles they audition for. Several people audition for these roles, whether it's on a video game or a TV show or a movie, animated, obviously. And the casting director, the executive producers, the studios are the ones who make the call about whether this voice actor or this voice actress gets hired, because they have the right voice for the role. If I was a voice actor and I was out there trying to, have a career and busting my butt. By the way, anyone want to hire me as a voice actor? No? Okay, Hollywood. Okay. I have a decent voice. But, yeah. I wouldn't apologize. I'd be like, well, I auditioned for this role. And other people auditioned for the role. And whoever hired me thought that I had the right voice for this character. It's voice acting. It's theater of the mind. It's imagination. I feel like in a lot of instances, it's starting to get a little off track, a little off the rails. And that's all I'm going to say about that issue specifically. So I don't think that these voice actors should have had to lose their job. And this could have been the only pay that they were getting, because voice actors, voice actresses, they don't get paid nearly as much as TV stars or movie stars, okay? A lot of them are, not really making the big bucks. They're probably doing okay. But, yeah. And I also kind of concerned with a bit of virtue signaling that might be occurring as well. But, like I said, I don't think they should have to worry about losing their job. And as long as you're a good voice actor or voice actress, it doesn't matter what your skin color should be anyways. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, doesn't matter. Because there's plenty of great voice actors and voice actresses out there. They all deserve equal opportunity to audition for roles. And if the studios, if the casting directors, if the executive producers think this voice is the right voice, what their real life pigment happens to be should be irrelevant, as long as they have the right voice for the character. But anyways, final hot take for June 2020. I'll be canceled now over that, and there won't be a July 2020 vlog. There won't be any more gaming channel content because I'll be canceled, and yeah, yada, yada, yada. But I don't apologize for anything I say. I refuse to apologize. It's my views, my opinions. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to disagree with me in the comment section. Please be civil about it. Be respectful. And, your thoughts, your views and opinions about June 2020. Was there anything at all in June 2020 that happened that was good for you? Anything at all? Oh, yeah. A few family members have breast cancer. That sucks. This year has just been absolute garbage. And my thoughts are with one of my cousins and another member of my family. Within a few days, I found out 2 different people in my family have breast cancer. Hopefully, minor breast cancer. Hopefully, treatable. Hopefully. Here's hoping, right? Really does suck. 2020 just continues to just get worse and worse. But if you have anything that happened that was good in 2020 when it comes to the month of June, leave it below in the comment section. And hopefully, I will see you in a month from now with the July 2020 vlog. And maybe, just maybe, 2020 will start to turn around. Maybe we'll actually have some more good news to go with the bad news in a month. Or it'll just be more bad news. But we'll find out one way or the other about a month from now in the July 2020 vlog.